is the starting lineup for the Red Storm of St. John. Starting for a sophomore from Plainfield, New Jersey, number 7, Simeon Wilcher. At forward, 6'7", a senior from Spring, Texas, wearing 0, Aaron Scott. At guard, 6'7", a junior from Miami, Florida, number 12, R.J. Lewis Jr. At forward, 6'9", a junior from Garland, Texas, number 24, Zuby Ejiofor. And at guard, 6'6", a graduate student from Brooklyn, New York, number 1, Kadari Richmond. The head coach of the Red Storm in his second season, Rick Pitino. Now let's play ball.
Rick Pitino, Coach of the Year in the conference, leading his team to a 27-4 record. Time for our starting lineups presented by Jeep. You just heard it for St. John's. This is a group that's 11-1 starting together this season. On the Butler side, this is what we saw yesterday. 6-6 when they've started this year for a team that's 14-18. They've got a lot of firepower, in particular with Telfort and Brooks. As we check in for the first time today with John Fanta.
Well, guys, a quick update on Davon Smith. He has been dealing with that shoulder injury. It sidelined him for the regular season finale against Marquette. Rick Pitino says a lot of it is mental. He's had about a day and a half of practice, and Pitino told me pregame that he's been a bit rusty, but for his program, that typically means you're going to go off for a 20-point game. That's how things have gone for the Red Storm. As for how they shift their mentality into the postseason, Pitino said, I'm not worried about that because we treat October like it's March. That's what we do in our program. We took our 10 minutes at the Big East Awards ceremony yesterday. R.J. Lewis, fellas, broke down in tears when winning the Big East Player of the Year honor. But Rick Pitino said after that awards ceremony, he went back to his team and said, fellas, that's enough of that. Now it's time to get postseason hardware.
And John, he talks all the time about eliminating distractions for this generation of players, how important that's been for his team through the season. And it's not easy considering all the noise that surrounded this program, all positive, but still easily distractible.
No, it's an awesome transition. 2-year-old coach. In the landscape of college basketball today, those two things don't seem to want to work, but he has figured it out. He knows better than anyone in this city, this is what this team should consistently be, and he got them to this point.
Our officials for our Big East tournament games on this quarterfinal Thursday, Brian O'Connell, Matt Potter, and Greg Evans. Kapke and Ejiofor will jump it up at midcourt. St. John's, the #1 seed in the Big East tournament for the first time in 39 years. First time the outright conference regular season champion in 40 years. And we'll see how they can keep it rolling. It's a zone look defensively for Butler to open this game.
That's a good look. It's a 1-3-1 zone to change it up a little bit, but Zuby Ejiofor is really good in that mid-post. Good passer out of there, willing passer.
Richmond will fire. Way too strong on the 3, and a stop for Butler. And a good look defensively for Thad Matta's crew. Loved the way they played yesterday. Didn't rebound it well. He said they're going to have to really fix that for this one today and play with extreme desperation against this top-seeded Johnnies.
I know it's a cliche, but it's one possession at a time, and so far you got exactly what you wanted to if you're Butler. Kadari Richmond shooting a 3.
St. John's, Rick Pitino has done such a good job of getting his team to play every second of every game. Really saw that in the overtime victory at Marquette to finish the regular season. Brooks going to work, fades, comes up short.
I'd love him to post about 3 feet closer, and then if you go to that fall away, it makes it that much more manageable.
Lewis with a turnover. Here's Brooks in transition. Finds his running mate, Telfort, who is fairly quiet in the second half, at 13 first-half points yesterday in the win over Providence. And a foul on the outside is going to go against Aaron Scott.
Throughout the season for Butler, they'd run into problems, as you saw there. They were bailed out with a foul, but they'll pick up the ball on a wing, and then everyone else on the other side, Noah, kind of just stands still. No cutting. That wasn't the case yesterday. They were moving really well without the ball. They're going to have to do that 5 times better than yesterday.
Telford averaging 16 points per game. Leave it for Brooks coming up. Oh, he loses Lewis, but he can't put in the J. Richmond looking to push. Lewis trailing the play. 18.1 points per game. Big East Player of the Year, and a foul inside as Ejiofor hits the deck and Telford complains.
Jamil Telford, yesterday, we're playing physically. You get a different officiating crew, a little softer, a little lighter on the calls, and you know, you give him a couple early, it really is a different look for Butler, and that's very unfortunate.
So it's going to be Landon Moore, who actually hit a couple big shots yesterday in the win over Providence, had 9 points off the bench. But this is a monumental the game. Not even 3 minutes in, just over 2 minutes into the game, and their leading scorer is going to have to sit for an extended period.
Their leader, their leading assist man, we heard yesterday how he basically took over a timeout, and now here we go. So now what happens is makeup calls. So it's that's what they are. I just have to say it. There was one light, now we're going to give another light one. This is not how the fans, this is not how the players, and it clearly isn't how the officials want this game to go, but this is how it's going. So who can adjust now? Do you continue? That's the issue. I think this plays better into Butler's hands, really the way they want to play.
Already 4 total fouls, just over 2 minutes in, and McCaffrey ties the game.
So big. We talked about this yesterday, but all season long, when you talk to Thad Matta, he says if you can get McCaffrey going early, his confidence is through the roof, and everyone else feeds off of that.
Called him the X factor on this team. When he shoots well, they win, and that's a nice take to the bucket for Wiltshire.
Yeah, Finley Bizjak's going to have to give a little space on Wiltshire. Gives up a little bit of quickness. Great recognition by Simeon, though, to put that ball down and blow by.
Nice anticipation. Lewis looking to run. Ejiofor running with him. Lewis coast to coast, can't float it down, batted around, and Moore secures. Butler started this game 1 for 4. McCaffrey that one make from the outside. Just over 3 minutes gone in this first half. A chop on both sides as Brooks can't lace the 3.
That was a nice play, though. Pin down, run to perfection, just have to pay it off.
Lewis off the screen. Pull up, pop. In and out. Him do that all season long. That mid-range off the bounce is where he's made his money. Bizjak looking inside. Kapke. Got the mismatch with Richmond. Richmond poke away right into the hands of Moore. Brooks, half the shot clock gone, and a reload for Bizjak. 7 points, 3 assists yesterday. 2 for 9 from the floor. A lot of the dirty work. Did hit a 3 early, but that one clanks off the side of the rim.
Not free-flowing right now for Butler. You got to move. You got to be aggressive. Moore's got to be ready to shoot that ball when he catches it.
Ejiofor just can't finish. Rebound Scott. Second chance for the Johnnies. Richmond puts the head down and gets the bucket.
Talk about getting your work done below the foul line. Kadari Richmond could be the best in America at getting to his right hand, using that 6'6" frame right around the logo and below.
The biggest key is what you just said, frame. It just feels like he uses his body so well. Is Jack Kapke, 15 to shoot now for Moore. Fend off on Scott. 7 senior. Moore got caught up again. McCaffrey's going to have to make it happen. Over Richmond. Ball to Wiltshire. Kapke late to recover. It's a 5-on-4 for St. Hurry. Richmond back down. Knocked away by McCaffrey. Scooped up. Wiltshire. Ejiofor. Spins on McCaffrey. Dump it down. Oh, McCaffrey stayed with it. And Lewis is fouled on the redirect. St. John's mucking the game up early. Butler 1 for 7 from the floor. It's the #1 overall seed in this Big East tournament. Pierre Brooks and the Butler Bulldogs taking over R.J. Lewis and this St. John's Red Storm. Rick Pitino's team up early, 7-3, just over 5 gone. Discover where every fan feels like an MVP. And by Xfinity. Stream sports with it because it's only live once. Walter Berry, you saw Chris. Of course, now R.J. Lewis can join the group to win Big East Player of the Year. He's got the great sign right outside of Madison Square Garden. Deserved. 18.1 points per game, 45% from the floor, just day in, day out, night in, night out. You see the improvement from last year. A lot of it just comes down to him being healthy all year. He also worked really hard this offseason to eliminate that hitch in his jump shot. You're seeing the benefits of his work play out throughout this year.
I tell you what, that's as big, if not bigger, than having a billboard in Times Square.
Yeah.
In front of MSG, are you kidding me? Man, that's big time. But he's a big-time player. You're right. He's continued to get better. Scouts at the next level really love his athleticism and his ability to be creative on the offensive end. And you know what? He gives you something on defense as well. You don't really get that from the guys at the top, the two-way guys. Sometimes they just want to be big-time scorers or only get it done on the defensive end. He's got the complete package, and he's only going to get better.
It was RJ's dad, Reggie, guys, who, when he saw that took the St. John's job, he said, RJ, we have to look longer at playing for this coach. He can get you to that. They said at the Big East Awards ceremony yesterday, after tears came down his face, he said, look, I didn't think I'd be where I am right now, but Coach Pitino saw it in me. And he said, what it is as demanding as Rick is of him, there's that balance between being able to press while also knowing that he loves you. RJ said, I've never had that from a coach.
Yeah, and John, the other thing that Rick has talked about in the modern game, and really I think this is something that he's learned over time as Ejiofor claims an offensive rebound, best in the conference at that. Rotram fires another chance, flying in. Scott with the board. They leave the open man. It is Lewis in the corner for three.
Those three-point shots from the corner tend to help guys who really either struggling or they're not that comfortable.
Wrap up that point on Pitino, is that one a little too high from the screen. He said that you can coach guys hard, but you can't personalize it in front of the group. If you want to personalize it, you got to bring them into your office, make sure you sit there. If you want to make a point to somebody, make it group is getting that point instead.
He told us before the game too, Noah, that I love this group. Great kids. And my coach, Jim Calhoun's in the building. I'm not sure he's still told me that.
So, Richmond, chance for three.
So if you're here as you're playing for the guy, it helps you play that much harder for him. And guys like Kadari Richmond, they need that. When you've been to a couple of different schools already, sometimes tough love on that road for Kadari, but this is where he's so good. Getting to his right hand, a little hang in the lane, and boy, big time in there.
And Thad Matta, he saw his leading scorer, leading assist man go to the bench with 2 early fouls. He's going to have to roll the dice. It's been an 11-0 run since for St. John's, and now Telfort back in the game as Richmond makes this a 12-point Johnny advantage.
Yeah, Telfort's going to play the right way, but you just hope that the officials recognize that, he's got 2 fouls, and they will maybe extend a little kind of freedom in his space and as he plays.
This Red Storm press is monstrous, and a foul's going to be called. Aaron Scott, second.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was a lot of risk there. It was a really good look.
Yeah.
Look, I know I said this yesterday. Our camera crew, man, they are on it. They are ready for the Big East tournament, man. They have given us so many great angles the last 2 days. Kudos to our camera guys.
Davon Smith makes his return to the court. Ibin Ayo is in there as well for St. John's. So Ibin Ayo along with Smith, Lewis, Ejiofor, and Pitino. Landon Moore stays in there. Colby King at the controls. Gets past Smith, and a foul going to be called immediately on Davon.
A lot of touchy ones so far, Noah. A lot of touchy ones. But remember, Colby King started his career here at St. John's. So is it one of those guys who, although you don't probably get off to the start you wanted, you're still coming back to a place that you'd like to make the point?
And another one. Smith is going to pick up 2 fouls within the first 30 seconds of being on the court. That's already the 15th foul on St. John's. Butler with 4 themselves, and Smith is going to have to go right back to the bench as Wilter checks back in. Now, so the officials have made the contact so far in this first half. From a player's perspective, you've got to adjust to that to a certain degree, right?
I don't know how you can, though, Noah. You've been playing this for how many games now? 28, 30? You know what I mean? Like, how do you adjust the way you play and continue to have success? I think it's the other way around. I think you got to call fouls, but essentially you could call fouls on every single play. You got to leave a little space for these guys to... Our jitters, look, it's not going to be a perfect game, but I just think to the flow right now, that there's really no flow to this game, and now you have players second guessing.
7 minutes in, Butler is 1 for 8. They've got 3 turnovers and they trail by 12. Can Telfort get it rolling a little bit, or Brooks? Moore with 3 on the clock, working on Richmond. Suffocating defense from the Johnnies and a shot clock violation.
Landon Moore has to shoot the ball. You can't get below the logo, the Big East logo in the paint, and then throw a bounce pass to your 7-foot center 1.5 feet away. It just can't happen. Take a look here. Nice little pull up. There you go. You're fine. Just the timing is off when you get to the point. Now the defense recovers. Good job by St. John's, though, to cover that.
Lewis will tee it up and knocks it down. His second 3 of this first half.
And that's the thing about great players. Once they make one, that basket becomes a hula hoop. And R.J. Lewis, best player in the Big East, he's made it clear. Another really good start for St. John's in a building where they are undefeated on the season.
Let's check in with John.
Only 3 points allowed thus far. What are you most pleased with defensively?
Well, they out-rebounded us last game. We said not tonight. If they...
Oh, all right. The second straight day that coaches just kind of turned around on John. John and Rick have had a great relationship all season.
They gave him their best. And
100%. Yeah. You know what? Excellent answers. And he's got places to be. Davon Smith on the bench. Butler's only field goal was a McCaffrey 3 at the 17:35 mark. It's a 15-0 St. John's run. Butler has not scored in over 5 minutes. And R.J. Lewis has got it cooking now after missing his first 3. He's hit 2 in a row from the outside.
Boy.
It's got to be Telfort or Brooks at some point for this team. Telfort, leave it. Brooks, that's way downtown.
Yeah.
Long rebound and a second chance.
2 guys aren't going to beat the St. John's team. So Landon Moore has to be ready. King has to be ready. Screen has to be down there to be able to try to dominate or fight on the glass.
Telfort just trying to find any space, and he banks it in. Puts an end to the 15 straight scored by St. John's.
I think St. John's doesn't get enough credit for is their patience offensively. People think they play at a fast pace. They do. They outrun a lot of teams, but they get into their spots. They space you out. They share the ball.
In Long Bright River, Amanda Seyfried stars as a Philadelphia cop on an investigation that hits too close to home. The limited series is streaming now only on Peacock. Nearly midway through this first half, Butler actually led at the half in the first matchup with these 2 teams on January 4th. It was 29-25 before St. John's won by 8. On February 26th, they trailed by 6 and lost the game by 6. St. John's just controlling it. But it was neither game that felt like it was a blowout or overly controlled. And trying to find a way back in both of them and trying to find a way back. That's back-to-back buckets by the leading scorer.
And then one way that you can have St. John's is a little success against St. John's is they're not going to overhelp. They're not going to double. So guys stay home, and you've seen already that Jamil Telfort has taken advantage, getting downhill to that strong right hand in the paint.
Butler got thoroughly out-rebounded by Providence yesterday. Gave up a ton on the offensive glass, and they're getting out-rebounded early again here today as Lewis missed it. Hook to the outside. Numbers for Butler if they hurry. Kapke is running the floor. Instead, it's King. Comes up short. Lewis on the leak out. In transition, in rhythm. This time it's short. So Butler's gotten a couple of stops. St. John's now 2.5 minutes without a point. Moore leaves it. Telfort. Jab, jumper. Just a little too strong.
Yeah, sometimes you jab and you don't just catch and go up. You lose the moment and your timing is off.
Edge of four, spray it out. Bean Ayo knocks down the tray.
Tell you, those corner threes, there's just something about them. They just feel closer. They feel. I think they're a harder shot because there's no backdrop from the corners. But a lot of guys who may struggle at times, they love that corner three.
McCaffrey can't respond. Bean Ayo clears it. Wiltshire looking to run. A collision there, and King's going to pick up the foul. Second on King. Fouls continue to pile up. Now 5 team fouls on either side.
Just talked about the spacing. You sag in, they stay where they are. They're not following the defense in, and King just couldn't get his feet together. Easy one.
For a team that doesn't make a ton of threes this season, they're 4 for 8 St. John's from the outside to start this game. It's helped build this 14-point cushion. Good ball movement. Lewis, kick out. Now Richmond will try.
It's the same miss he had earlier. I think somebody opened a window in here.
he only
garage
attempted,
door down the ramp, maybe.
Yeah, there's a draft. Yeah, there's a draft. The freight elevator. I don't know. It'll go back to the smell. He only attempted 36 threes during the regular season. He's not necessarily a three-point shooter. That's not where his bread is buttered.
And he doesn't need to. No, you're that wide open. You know what? Take 2 dribbles in. You're big enough and elevate from 17 feet where he's very comfortable. I don't think you have to stay out there and shoot that if you're Kadari Richmond. You don't have to prove anything right now. Everyone knows who you are. They know who your team is. Right now it's just about advancing.
Ruben Prey as Telfort misses the floater. Kapke tracks it down, saves it from McCaffrey. Prey is in for St. John's, as is Lefteris Leotopoulos. McCaffrey dancing. Telfort again. Brooks not on the floor and has not scored for this team after 25 yesterday against Providence. Telfort blocked, but a foul, and Rick Pitino can't believe it as Ruben Prey picks up number 1.
What I love about Jamil Telfort, he's never in a hurry. You know, big guy on him, small guy on him. Tough one. Prey's got that length. Wow, looked like he got ball first. A lot of ball.
Veteran move from Telfort, recognized that Prey was in his airspace, and the freshman just close enough that Telfort could sell the contact. St. John's already with 16 fouls, Butler with 5, so 11 total fouls just past the midway point of this first half. It's been ticky-tacky and choppy at times as Brooks checks back in for the Bulldogs. So Brooks, McCaffrey, Telfort, Bizjack, and Kapke, the 5 that started the game, on the floor now for Butler. And Telfort splits the pair.
You talked about, you know, players and teams kind of adjusting to how the game's being called. That shouldn't be a thing, though. It shouldn't be. The game should be called the same every game. And I think because what the thing is are the players, the teams, and you adjust as an official to how they're playing. And you talk to them, you communicate.
You can count that bucket. Bean Ayo did get it to go, and then there was a foul underneath as well. That's going to go against Brooks.
Yeah, I think he just pushed Prey in the back. And that's a tough one. You're walking a guy out, and that's what you're taught to do in practice, walk guys under the hoop. But the timing of that was such that Prey was jumping as Brooks was walking him down to the baseline.
So St. John's score the 2, and now will inbound underneath. Wiltshire, Leotopoulos. A good tap by Bean Ayo. He has been excellent coming off the bench so far in this first half. Wiltshire attacks and finishes.
I tell you, Simeon Wiltshire is a special player. He plays older than his years. Knocked down some shots, but to see him getting downhill, he's recognizing what the scouting report has showed them. My feet are faster than yours.
Comes from that Roselle Catholic program in Jersey that has just churned out elite players. Nice jumper off the spin by Bizjack.
Talk about Brooks. Talk about Telfort. Bizjack probably has to be that next guy. I know McCaffrey, he's really important. But Finley Bizjack can get it going.
How can they string some stops together? Ejiofor's been quiet so far as Prey floats it off the rim. Rebound, Ejiofor, that's what he does.
One of the things I dislike the most is a big-to-big pass 4 feet away and a bounce pass. It's just so inefficient, especially if it's, and I appreciate that they're sharing.
Unselfish.
You're trying to do it
sharing
together.
is caring.
But when it's Zuby Ejiofor, dude, you're a first team all big. You got to go to work, man, when you're in the paint.
Telfort drills one. Second straight day, though, for Butler that they have allowed a number of offensive rebounds. Already 7 for St. John's in this first half. Ibinayo looking for another 3. Doesn't have the response. Tipped around. Prey got a hand on it. But Kapke squeezes and hands it for Brooks. Brooks 0 for 4 to start this game.
They had him in the post really one possession, and then they went away from it.
Same spot.
That was why he was successful yesterday.
Telfort just can't make it 2 in a row. And then a tie-up. It's going to go against Prey. And they're going to take a look at this one maybe for a hook and hold. Under 8 to play with 6:25 remaining in this first half. St. John's went on a 15-0 run, and they haven't looked back from there. Kadari Richmond and company just feeling it early as the Johnnies have been stifling and lead by 14. Up short. Lewis on the leak out. In transition, in rhythm. This time it's short. So Butler's gotten a couple of stops. St. John's now 2.5 minutes without a point. Moore leaves it. Telfort. Jab, jumper. Just a little too strong.
Yeah, sometimes you jab and you don't just catch and go up. You lose the moment and your timing is off.
Ejiofor spray it out. Ibinayo knocks down the tray.
Tell you, those corner threes, there's just something about them that they just feel closer. They feel, I think they're a harder shot because there's no backdrop from the corners. But a lot of guys who may struggle at times, they love that corner three.
McCaffrey can't respond. Ibinayo clears it. Wiltshire looking to run. A collision there, and King's going to pick up the foul. Second on King. The fouls continue to pile up. Now 5 team fouls on either side.
Just talked about the spacing. You sag in, they stay where they are. They're not following the defense in, and King just couldn't get his feet together. Easy one.
For a team that doesn't make a ton of threes this season, they're 4 for 8 St. John's from the outside to start this game. It's helped build this 14-point cushion. With ball movement, Lewis, kick out. Now Richmond will try.
It's the same miss he had earlier. I think somebody opened a window in here.
He only
garage
attempted.
door down the ramp, maybe.
Yeah, there's a draft. Yeah, there's a draft. The freight elevator. I don't know. It'll go back to the smell. He only attempted 36 threes during the regular season. He's not necessarily a three-point shooter. That's not where his bread is buttered.
And he doesn't need to. No, you're that wide open. You know what? Take 2 dribbles in. You're big enough and elevate from 17 feet where he's very comfortable. I don't think you have to stay out there and shoot that if you're Kadari Richmond. You don't have to prove anything right now. Everyone knows who you are. They know who your team is. Right now it's just about advancing.
Ruben Prey as Telfort misses the floater. Kapke tracks it down, saves it from McCaffrey. Prey is in for St. John's, as is Lefteris Leotopoulos. McCaffrey dancing. Telfort again. Brooks not on the floor and has not scored for this team after 25 yesterday against Providence. Telfort blocked, but a foul. And Rick Pitino can't believe it as Ruben Prey picks up number 1.
What I love about Jamil Telfort, he's never in a hurry. You know, big guy on him, small guy on him. Tough one. Prey's got that length. Wow, looked like he got ball first. A lot of ball.
Veteran move from Telfort, recognized that Prey was in his airspace, and the freshman just close enough that Telfort could sell the contact. St. John's already with 16 fouls, Butler with 5, so 11 total fouls just past the midway point of this first half. It's been ticky-tacky and choppy at times as Brooks checks back in for the Bulldogs. So Brooks, McCaffrey, Telfort, Bizjack, and Kapke, the 5 that started the game, on the floor now for Butler. And Telfort splits the pair.
You talked about, you know, players and teams kind of adjusting to how the game's being called. That shouldn't be a thing, though. It shouldn't be. The game should be called the same every game. And I think because what the thing is are the players, the teams, and you adjust as an official to how they're playing. And you talk to them, you communicate.
You can count that bucket. E.B. Nio did get it to go, and then there was a foul underneath as well. That's going to go against Brooks.
Yeah, I think he just pushed Prey in the back. And that's a tough one. You're walking a guy out, and that's what you're taught to do in practice, walk guys under the hoop. But the timing of that was such that Prey was jumping as Brooks was walking him down to the baseline.
So St. John's score the 2, and now will inbound underneath. Wilcher, Leotopoulos. A good tap by E.B. Nio. He has been excellent coming off the bench so far in this first half. Wilcher attacks and finishes.
I tell you, Simeon Wilcher is a special player. He plays older than his years. Knocked down some shots, but to see him getting downhill, he's recognizing what the scouting report has showed them. My feet are faster than yours.
Comes from that Roselle Catholic program in Jersey that has just churned out elite players. Nice jumper off the spin by Bizjack.
Talk about Brooks. Talk about Telfort. Bizjack probably has to be that next guy. I know McCaffrey, he's really important. But Finley Bizjack can get it going.
How can they string some stops together? Ejiofor has been quiet so far as Prey floats it off the rim. Rebound, Ejiofor, that's what he does.
Tell you, one of the things I dislike the most is a big-to-big pass 4 feet away and a bounce pass. It's just so inefficient, especially if it's, and I appreciate that they're sharing.
Unselfish.
You're trying to do it
sharing
together.
is caring.
But when it's Zuby Ejiofor, dude, you're a first team all big. You got to go to work, man, when you're in the paint.
Telfort drills one. Second straight day, though, for Butler that they have allowed a number of offensive rebounds. Already 7 for St. John's in this first half. Ibinayo looking for another 3. Doesn't have the response. Tipped around. Prey got a hand on it. But Kapke squeezes and hands it for Brooks. Brooks 0 for 4 to start this game.
They had him in the post really one possession, and then they went away from it.
Same spot.
That was why he was successful yesterday.
Telfort just can't make it 2 in a row. And then a tie-up. It's going to go against Prey. And they're going to take a look at this one maybe for a hook and hold. Under 8 to play with 6:25 remaining in this first half. St. John's went on a 15-0 run, and they haven't looked back from there. Kadari Richmond and company just filling it early as the Johnnies have been stifling and lead by 14. Over the outstretched arms of Andre Screen, one of the best blocked men in the Big East this year. And Richmond just always in control at his own pace, using that body perfectly. Under 2 to play. King cross. Lost the footing. Lewis was right there. Ripped it away. Oh, guided back to Telfort with 13 to shoot. Telfort likes the matchup with the freshman. Goes right to work. Ejiofor steps up. Telfort gets caught up. Knocked away. Ejiofor with the hands. Richmond bounce it. Leotopoulos right down the middle.
Hey, deflections, they're disruptive, and they lead a lot of times to turnovers. I love that Kadari Richmond recognizes that I can give the ball to a freshman, let him go to work.
They call a kick ball on Wiltshire. Rick Pitino trying to tell his young stud to keep calm after that one.
Look at the crossover, keeping that ball in front. Kadari cooking. So they call him Cooks. And then look at this. Kadari the lefty, just again, he's an equal opportunity assister.
Coming off that triple-double, too. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that what you told your teammates to be?
Yeah.
Say, pass me the ball, you'll be an equal opportunist.
Yeah, they didn't listen. Listen to me.
Approaching a minute to play in this first half. Circling around Telfort in a crowd. Ejiofor steps up. Oh, that's a bomb! Bizjack a little too strong. Leotopoulos has been the spark plug off the bench in this first half for the Johnnies. Skip it, swing it. Lewis looking for his third 3. And a foul inside, going to go on Screen.
It's tough being a big man in this game today. I mean, you grapple it all, and they're calling something. I think it's got to tell guys, and we talked about this yesterday, get your work done early. So before the shot goes up, start working your guy out of the paint. Start working him up the paint. Carve out space, if you're Andre Screen in this instance, to give yourself some room to go get that rebound. If you wait until the ball goes up, you see what happens. Zubi Ejiofor is going to continue to fight down low. It's so tough, so active.
Leotopoulos with a nice ovation as he went towards the bench. Sadiku Ibinayo back on the floor, and Vincent Iwuchukwu will check in for the shooter. But Ejiofor will stay out there after the miss on the front end. So still a chance here. 2 for 1, not really in the cards for Butler. Can bring this to within 11 or 10 with a bucket. Instead, it's an offensive foul, and it's number 3 on Telfort. He had done such a good job playing through the 2 fouls, and that one's going to cost.
That's unfortunate. I think when you're, again, you got 35 seconds to go now. That's when I think that Telfort should have the ball in his hand. It would protect you from plays like that. You control it, not the referees, by putting him in an awkward position. Let him handle that ball, start that out. He should have it anyway, under a minute to go in the half.
And now just a 4-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Richmond on the outside, bounce it. Iwuchukwu back down on Screen. Oh, Screen sends him away. Iwuchukwu track it down, kick it out, open look. And a little bit short from Leotopoulos back in the game. Shot clock turned off. Brooks can hold for one here for Butler. Wiltshire doing a nice job of chatting defensively. 5 seconds left. Knocked away, but a foul. Wiltshire thought he got it clean. Instead, it's Lewis who's going to pick it up.
I remember playing in games that were called similar to this in the Big East tournament, and Jim Calhoun telling us, look, they can't foul us all out. You continue to play the way you play, and I'm sure Rick Pitino's got to be telling his guys, look, clean up a couple of things. Let's move our feet better, but you continue to play that aggressive style defensively. They're not going to foul all of us out.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah. It is.
Coming up on the Xfinity halftime report, St. John's with their suffocating and vintage defense, concern for Cooper Flagg over in the ACC, and Indiana pushing for one of those final NCAA tournament spots. We'll have that and more on the Xfinity halftime report. That's the first point of the day for Brooks after he had 25 in the win yesterday. Goes 2 for 2 here to bring it to within 11. 4.9 seconds in this first half. Leotopoulos will inbound. Richmond on the run. Gets it across with 3. Richmond with 2. Gets to the paint, floats it up, and he missed it at the horn. So Butler with a nice job of making this more competitive. They didn't score a field goal in the final 2.5, but the free throws bring it back to 11 after they went down by as many as 17. Leotopoulos already tying his season high with 6 points, but Kadari Richmond leads all scorers. He's got 9 points for St. John's to go with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Let's go to John.
Rick, you were up 17. They start to climb back in. What do you want to see go differently in the second half?
We got some really tough calls where I thought we stripped the basketball. Watching on replay, I thought we got all ball. But I'm one never to complain about officiating, but got some tough calls. They bailed them out in crease situations. We got to play better.
I know it didn't go the way one to end the half, but Kadari with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. How do you like what you've seen from him?
Got to play better defense.
Says it all.
Thanks, John.
Mic drop.
I think that John's just getting used to this at this point. Rick Pitino knows when his time has come to a close, and his team still getting it done, up by 11 despite, in his words, some missed calls out on the court. 37-26 at the half. Coming up after the break, it's the Xfinity halftime report with the guys back in studio.
Zone. We're going to play a little 1-3-1. They've got a smorgasbord of defenses going on right now, but it's still not working. St. John's is living in the lane. They're converting once they get in there, and they have 12 more field goal attempts for Butler.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise for St. John's. The foundational piece is toughness, and the toughness, it starts with how they defend. And they were defending their tails off in their initial appearance here in MSG to begin postseason play. Telford coming off 26 versus Providence. They understood the assignment. Make him meet a chest. Wiltshire does just that, fading away, nothing going to the rim, setting the tone early on. Then here, just look, your player of the year, Big East player of the year, R.J. Lewis fights through the screens, defending Telford, gets in the passing lane. Being physical, being disruptive.
Being physical, being disruptive. Every single catch, there's active hands on every single catch. Here comes the post double. When he goes there to get the post double with his high hands, it forces a turnover. And Zuby Ejiofor, the X factor for this St. John's team. When your 5-man can switch ball screens, switch dribble handoffs, and keep guards in front of you, it makes your defense that much better.
So if you're Butler, you're shooting 29% from 3. You're kicking yourselves a little bit in this one. But are there moments in the game where if you're Thad Matta, you're like, we need to be better here?
They started to develop a rhythm, right? And then there was a 40-second window in this game that was just confounding basketball from the group that allows St. John's to build. So right here, you get a stop. Now you're really trying to get back into this game. Telford, what are you doing? Excuse me, Brooks trying to get it to Telford. Okay, so that's 2 points given up. Then here, you got a blow by Bizjack, plays with his food, gets too cute, miss layup. That's 4 points that are transferred. And now Bizjack, great job touching paint on defense. You don't get a lot of clean looks versus St. John's defense. Kapke gets one right there. That's not a miscue, but you have to make those shots. Yeah. In a 40-second span, those 3 plays happen. That's 7 points that all go St. John's way, and that's how they built this 11-point lead. And they've certainly done it with second chance. They've certainly done it with points off turnovers. 24 of their points coming there. Butler only has 26. So for Butler, second half, you got to take better care of the basketball, move it, but you have to make those open looks if you're lucky enough to get them.
20 minutes of guaranteed basketball left for this team. That's all you got. Just go out there and cut it loose.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
We know what Coach McCall's halftime speech would be right now from
Well,
and that's what it is.
St. John's close.
Butler looked good last night, trying to have a second half comeback here today inside of MSG. We got to take a break. When we come back, Duke in action in the ACC, a developing story with the #1 seed in the ACC tournament. We'll tell you all about that when we come back.
Pushing one of those final NCAA tournament spots. We'll have that and more on the Xfinity halftime report. That's the first point of the day for Brooks after he had 25 in the win yesterday. Goes 2 for 2 here to bring it to within 11. 4.9 seconds in this first half. Leotopoulos will inbound. Richmond on the run. Gets it across with 3. Richmond with 2. Gets to the paint, floats it up, and he missed it at the horn. So Butler with a nice job of making this more competitive. They didn't score a field goal in the final 2.5, but the free throws bring it back to 11 after they went down by as many as 17. Leotopoulos already tying his season high with 6 points, but Kadari Richmond leads all scorers. He's got 9 points for St. John's to go with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Let's go to John.
Rick, you were up 17. They start to climb back in. What do you want to see go differently in the second half?
We got some really tough calls where I thought we stripped the basketball. Watching on replay, I thought we got all ball. But I'm one never to complain about officiating, but got some tough calls. They bailed them out in crease situations. We got to play better.
I know it didn't go the way he wanted to end the half, but Kadari with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. How do you like what you've seen from him?
Got to play better defense.
Says it all.
Thanks, John.
Mic drop.
I think that John's just getting used to this at this point. Rick Pitino knows when his time has come to a close, and his team still getting it done, up by 11 despite, in his words, some missed calls out on the court. 37-26 at the half. Coming up after the break, it's the Xfinity halftime report with the guys back in studio. Five on 4 for the Johnnies. Richmond trailing. Scott in the corner. And nice job by McCaffrey to get his hands on it first.
Yeah, it's going to be have to be a gang rebounding mentality for Butler. You're getting dominated on that offensive glass. It just can't happen. 9 in the first half for St. John's. They just keep coming in waves. Find a body, even if it's not your guy.
Foul away from the ball as Ejiofor was the one who ended up on the deck, and he's going to pick it up. Rick Pitino wasn't thrilled with the whistles in the first half. Not what he was hoping for to start this second half. Take on a look on that left side. Just a collision. Kapke fighting
I'm telling you that they're pressing their luck having Telfort in those pick situations, those back picks, the up screens, the hat picks, if you will.
Deep one. Brooks in and out. Rebound. Capke couldn't corral, and Ejiofor does. So Ejiofor now with 6 boards. Transition opportunity leads to a wide open look, but Wilcher can't can it. Offensive rebound and put back. Lewis. Another offensive rebound, the 10th of the game for St. John's.
You have to match the activity and the intensity, and we know this. You have to remind guys, even though it's a Big East tournament, this is a home game for St. John's, a building that they have not lost a game in this year.
Ooh, that was nifty from Finley Bizjack.
And he's done that the last couple of plays.
That was the 2nd day in a row that we've seen one of the Butler players go tongue out after an impressive play as Aaron Scott cans the mid-range jumper. Yesterday we had Patrick McCaffrey deliver the what's up on his way back to the bench.
I don't think it's a good look.
No, you're out on it.
Oh, yeah, I don't like the look. Yeah, keep your tongue in your mouth. It's your MJ. It doesn't work.
Turnover. Richmond looking to run the break. It's a 10-point St. John's lead. It's a 12-point St. John's lead.
Again, I know I've said it multiple times, and coaches have talked about it. They make you reactive and not proactive. The way they keep pushing it down your throat, keeping you on your heels. Step in, step up.
Telfort lines it up. Off the heel, back tap into the hands of Wilcher. St. John's with numbers if they hurry. Spray it out. Scott, 3 ball. Telfort claims. Now a leak out. McCaffrey had some opening. Instead, it's Brooks on the other side.
Got to be a better pass, though. Somewhere where he can catch and actually go with it. Not one that's almost out of bounds. He's saving.
Telfort looks like he already put it on the deck. He's going to put it on the deck again. And had it taken away. Doubled by Scott, forced the turnover. Lewis hangs and puts it through. Just when it felt like Butler was making some headway on that deficit, St. John's has had the response. 6 straight points from the Red Storm.
Thad waiting for that under 16 to talk to his guys. I mean, look, sometimes it's okay to take a timeout even though you know one's coming. When you don't have anything going at either end.
And the struggles continue for Pierre Brooks. Now 0 for 5 from downtown. Scott, he's just finding his spot and making the defense pay. An 8-0 run to get it back to 16. Butler had it to within 8 just a moment ago, and now Thad Matta will take that timeout. Under 16 to play. And the top seed in the Big East tournament. This Butler team on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, they really are. They keep the pressure on you, but they're so unselfish. Take a look. Kadari Richmond's gonna drag this ball in. Take a look. He's right there. And what's so special about this team, they put the pressure on you. Everyone's looking this way. Well, Aaron Scott's gonna just slide right into here. Kadari Richmond sets us up because it's almost just a little pass fake, and they make you feel like you're standing still. I mean, at least Aaron Scott did, because he cuts in. All the eyes are facing the other way. But it's 2 things. It's spatial awareness, 1, by every player on the floor, staying out of each other's way. It's unselfishness. And then it's also the respect that all of them have kind of garnered with their individual abilities. It's awesome to see.
Time now for our big shots, brought to you by Xfinity. Kadari Richmond coming off a triple-double. The first St. John's triple-double since Ron Artest in 1999. He is on triple-double watch again. 4 rebounds and 3 assists away from doing it in back-to-back games. So Butler with the ball. Nearly 5 minutes into the second half. And a turnover. The step in front. Scott the steal. Good recovery by King. Smith back in. Lob it inside. And Lewis finishes. Lewis has just let the game come to him today. 14 points, somewhat quietly after making those 2 threes in the first half. It's a 10-0 St. John's run. They had a 15-0 run in the first half, and now their largest lead at 18. And a foul inside. We'll step aside with 15:05 to play, and St. John's turning defense into offense in a blink.
Yeah, you better take care of your inventory against St. John's, because they will scoop it up and make you pay at the other end. Johnny's in control.
After a career-high 11 made field goals, he's 0 for 7 from the floor. Davon Smith is in. He picked up 2,030 seconds in the first half, and that's going to be a foul on Zuby Ejiofor on a loose ball attacking Bizjack.
I don't mind it at all. I love aggressive fouls when that ball is a 50-50 ball like this in the air. You know, I don't know if anyone had an advantage. I know that Butler's throwing the ball in, so that's probably why that was a foul call. Bigger guy on a smaller guy. You're always going to lose if you're the bigger guy. It's what it is.
Yeah, you looked at me as you said.
Well, I mean, because you go to the store, I'm looking for XLs, and you got the XL on, and no, you were an extra medium.
I was just trying to go for the 2003 NBA draft look, and that's going to be. They're going to have to take a second here as Bizjack goes down to the deck, and he's holding his left ankle. He has been really the energy plug for them through the season, and then today, as they made their run, he's going to get immediate attention. Bizjack, who was an all Big East freshman team selection last year, has raised his numbers this season, and Thad Matta just loves his work ethic, what he brings in terms of his overall energy every day. He was looking forward to getting back to the Big East tournament. Take a look at what happened here. As he's trying to set up, and he just planted, came up wrong. He's trying to walk it off as he heads back towards the locker room. So we'll see Bizjack off. He was on the Big East Barroom podcast earlier this week and talked about last year his limited experience in the Big East tournament. Quincy Oliveri ran him across essentially 4 brutal screens, took his lunch money once, and then he didn't play the rest of the game. So he was excited for a new opportunity, played well yesterday, and the hope is that he can find his way back on the court for the rest of this one. McCaffrey thought about it. Colby King's going to get some extended run with Bizjack off. It's screen on the spin, and he's blocked, but a foul.
Like, they're a different Butler team when Screen plays aggressively. When he's assertive, catches that ball, and doesn't second guess down low, they just give defenses a different look. And this is what you want. When you're down big, you want to be able to get to the foul line, chance to score the ball while the clock is stopped.
So Screen to the line. He was scoreless yesterday in 19 minutes. And he nearly used every part of the rim there, but it does fall off. 8 minutes of action so far today. They've gotten some good run from Kapke. Just trying to find a different energy. He's trying to put an end to a 10-0 run from St. John's, and does. 63% shooter for the Bucknell transfer. In his second year with the program. Gets it to a 17-point game just over 5 minutes into this second half. St. John's is just taking complete control once again. See if Butler has one more run in them. Iwuchukwu, physical. Oh, the follow! Lewis shows he can go up high too. More than just the jump shots. Lewis can do it all. King, a blur. Screen, couldn't handle. Iwuchukwu, deep outlet. Telford takes it away. Numbers now for Butler. Moore, kick, intercepted. Scott. Richmond working on another triple-double. 11 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. Step away, bounce, perfect delivery. Richmond to Iwuchukwu.
Iwuchukwu is such a nice compliment off the bench for Rick Pitino, because he brings a different look. He's a guy that can go up and get that shot, change it, and then he's so athletic on the offensive end. Great bounce.
Aaron Scott has played 12 minutes in this game. He has 5 steals.
Yeah.
He has been so active defensively. Now trying to front the post on screen. It's Telford working on Iwuchukwu. Oh! Lewis just swatted that one.
I mean, this is their 11th offensive rebound. And again, their activity, it's hard to compete with. They play hard every possession. And as R.J. Lewis is showing you, the tip dunk.
Knock away by screen. McCaffrey with his head up. 7 minutes gone in the second half. It is a 21-point St. John's advantage. McCaffrey looking inside for screen. Back down, clears the space, and guess what? Nearly another steal for Scott, and then just perfect placement as that loose ball ends up with screen for the easy one. Oh, the fend up. Oh, little no look. Ends up with Leotopoulos. Smith gets it back on the reload. Bottom.
40% from there on the season. You got to step out if you're going to try to. If you can't run a ball down, you got to know where their shooters are.
And Smith just got hit in the shoulder. He was feeling that on that screen. He's kind of holding that shoulder down, and I think Rick Pitino recognizes it, and he's probably going to get his guard off the floor. You can see the frustration. So it'll be Lewis and Iwuchukwu who sits. Smith is going to stay on the floor as he chats with Brian O'Connell now.
Smith is important. I know this team has got some depth to it, but he comes in as their best defensive rebounding player out there for St. John's, and he also changes the pace for them. If things are slow, they're stagnant, he gets them going. See him still messing with that shoulder a little bit. So important. So many moving parts and great players on this team, but that
just took the direct shot. It was already tender, still not 100%, but more than good enough to play. Brooks finally gets an easy one and a chance for three.
And really only his second opportunity around that low block all game. Started that first possession and then never went back to it. But he's got to get it going, and he's got to get it going fast here.
4 points for Brooks. Keep an eye on Smith as he's still in the game and he's still holding his right shoulder. Brooks brings it back to within inside of 20. Now 19-point game. Some light pressure. Scott will bring it across. Leotopoulos. Now a reload for Smith. Screen from Prey. He rejects. Smith gets inside. May have been blocked from behind. Butler, no real hurry. Brooks off the screen, leaves it, swing it. McCaffrey laces the triple.
That would be nice for Butler if they could find some more pin downs for him, even some motion action on that weak side to get McCaffrey some more touches.
Timeout call by Rick Pitino. A couple of buttons.
Ready. Don't get picked. Don't let him go by. Now, I'm not going to tell you again. I took Ruben out right now taking your ass out. You play defense.
16-point lead in St. John's. Rick Pitino's been very clear this season. You don't let up no matter what the situation is. There was a reason he called the final game of the season his favorite win of the season in overtime over Marquette. It looked like Marquette had secured the rebound to continue the game, go to double overtime with 3 seconds left, and Kadari Richmond poked it free. Simeon Wilcher had it, gave it up. Zuby Ejiofor floats it in for the win. And the funniest thing, if you watch the clip back of the final seconds of that game, the back and forth affair that it was, Rick Pitino was stoic, except for about 0.5 seconds after Zuby Ejiofor made the bucket, and then he went back to being stoic. He is one of a kind.
Yeah, he is. I love. He sounded like me talking to my kids. I'm not going to tell you again. I think I say that 100 times a day. I'm not going to tell you again, and I keep telling them again. And I'm sure he will tell them again. Just a dad thing.
Scott's been automatic from about that 15-foot area so far today. McCaffrey speeds down the court. Oh, that's a tough finish.
I love what McCaffrey's doing right now. He's been through so much this season, his career, physically, mentally, to see him out here shining, even though the score is what it is. I love to see that for that young man.
He's a guy who's just played so much basketball in what could be his last college game as Ejiofor just hooks it in.
Comes from such a wonderful family, McCaffrey. Knows his dad, obviously.
Iowa with a surprise win yesterday.
Fran McCaffrey when he played.
White Magic?
Yeah, back in the day, Philly boy.
And a foul in the backcourt is going to go against King. Just does all the dirty work, the little things, but he can score too when given the opportunity.
Great recognition there. And you know what? Every time you watch him play, there's no doubt, even though we know it, he's a coach's son.
Yes.
Even yesterday, same deal. You just little idiosyncrasies, things that he does, guys, how he talks and communicates, and obviously through his play.
He's got his brother now as an assistant counter in his first year with Butler. I've been working with the Indiana Pacers prior.
Younger brother Jack will be at Butler next year.
Lewis comes up short. Ejiofor, just a vacuum under the basket. Now 5-on-4 with Ejiofor late to recover. Chatting with the officials on his way down the floor. Good ball movement. Evan Haywood comes up short on the three.
That looked good, though. Good release.
Yeah, he was 4 of 10 during the regular season from downtown. Lewis rolls off. Butler with numbers. It's Haywood
Not as much
streaking down the
commitment
lane.
there, Noah. Not as much commitment on that layup that we've seen earlier.
McCaffrey leave it. Kapke's got all day shooting practice.
You know, sometimes we've talked about this, it's hard to play with a big lead. It's hard to keep that same intensity, but I think to level up and to be a championship team, you have to continue to keep your foot on the gas.
Lewis back down, spin. Helford's been playing with 3 fouls, and Lewis sneaks it in. Just has all the angles, all the tricks. Rick Pitino said this time of year, including even that Marquette game to end the regular season, he's treating every moment as if they're already in the NCAA tournament, preaching to his team, okay, now there's 8.5 minutes left in this game and you're leading. How are you going to advance? How are you going to make sure that you win this game? Another foul called against St. John's, now their 8th team foul and number 4 on Aaron Scott.
I know Rick Pitino did say that he doesn't talk to the refs when he's talking to John, and I've gotten that from other officials that say he just coaches. You know, I think it shows his efficiency where I don't have time to waste on things that I can't control. It's all about my guys, and I appreciate that so much about Rick Pitino. Another great quality is I'm not going to yell at the refs. They're going to do what they do. I need to focus on my team. And a lot of refs have said that. He does not talk to us.
Well, that was a lane violation, so they'll do it all over again. Ironically, with all the fouls given in this game on both sides, and now already the 18 fouls on St. John's, Butler has actually done a good job of not fouling in the second half. Only 1 team foul so far. There's only been 13 free throws attempted between the two. Helford will get another opportunity at a front end. And let's check in with John.
Hey guys, Finley Bizjack will not return to this game with an ankle injury. He tried and just can't give it a go. Patrick McCaffrey just went back. Caffrey just went back to the locker room. I'll keep you posted on that. But I talked with Thad Matta as well in the huddle, after his huddle, and he said, we have got to play with pace. We can't give into the fatigue factor, Noah and Donnie. He said when you play St. John's, there's a fatigue that can come through. We can't succumb to that.
No, that's good stuff, John. And the good news is that McCaffrey's right back on the bench for Butler. So we'll see if they can get him back in there fairly quickly. Richmond back in the game for St. John's. He would Chukwu with a post touch. And a reload now with his point guard, half the shot clock gone. Richmond using the screen. Just facilitates his body to his spot. Comes up short, impacted by screen, and Butler gets the stop.
And Moore, nice job getting his hands in that cookie jar.
Brooks drives. Brooks. No screen, offensive rebound, can't put it in.
Got to go up stronger, though. You can't go away from the contact.
Nice recovery, though, by Screen to get a hand on that pass. Knocked it out of bounds with under 8 to play. Butler continuing to battle, keeping...
How forceful he is.
But with the season that they've had, and this goes back to Rick Pitino talking about eliminating distractions and how important that is for his team, you do wonder when the noise starts to get back to the team. how you handle now the actual postseason when things are truly on the line. And this first test, they have passed so far with not just flying colors, but really anything you could have asked from them, they have done. And a foul on the floor going to go against Butler. You look at the resume for the tournament this year. Right now, the field of 68 has them as a 2. They can do themselves some favors if they run through this week and win the Big East tournament emphatically. But 27-4, and to your point, all 4 of those have come by a combined 7 points. They have been right there in every game. And they've won some close games too, but they've learned to win along the way and done it in real style.
And to respond to your first inquiry about how do you not start to breathe your own exhaust, if you will, is you haven't done anything. And Coach Pitino will tell them, we haven't done anything. We haven't won anything. Yeah, we played a great regular season. You've done nothing. So there's no way you can, don't get in your own way. There's still a lot to be accomplished, some actual championships to still win. And they have a great opportunity to do that the next few days here, and probably a pretty good chance in April.
Rick Pitino's done it before at a number of stops. The foul goes against Ruben Prey, so free throws incoming for Telfort, playing now with 4 fouls. Prey also up to 4 after that one. Rick Pitino knows what it takes. He said you don't have to necessarily win every game by 15 points. As long as you win by 1 when you get to March and April, that's what matters. Find a way to win by a single point. Survive and advance, all the cliches that come with March Madness. And this is his 5th school winning a regular season title. BU, Kentucky, Louisville, Iona, and now St. John's. And the hair remains basically unchanged, just about unchanged. Maybe slightly lighter, but it's good genetics.
Couldn't find one in the white suit, huh?
No.
Retire that thing, I hope?
No, I think that it might be done for the year. Let's go over John.
Well, guys, when Rick Pitino was at the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last week, he was talking with his athletic director, new St. John's AD Ed Call, and before the curtain opened for him to go on with Jimmy, he turned to Ed and said, you know, I've won a couple of national championships. I've been to the 7 Final Fours. I've won over 880 games. I've never been asked to be on the Tonight Show until I'm the head coach of St. John's. And I think it shows what this place, what his presence has done for a program that is so starved, that hasn't won this event in 25 years. He has shown why St. John's matters after a period of time where it truly fell off the map, to the tune of, who, as someone said to me last week, who is going on the Tonight Show to talk solely college basketball? That's Rick Pitino, that's St. John's. That's the impact it has in the college basketball world.
What's the biggest mic drop for Pitino? That going out onto the stage of the Tonight Show, or his halftime interview with John Fanta? That is a tool for the ages.
That won't be the last one. The guy is just wired. Like, as he said, Donnie, he's told you this several times this year. He couldn't be without basketball. He tried it for 2 years. He tried his golf game. It wasn't fun.
Richmond, right now he's having fun on the court. 15, 7, and 8, and it's back to 20. Under 4 to play. Telfort at the controls, first of 4 games here at the Big East tournament on day 2. It'll be the big one, Xavier and Marquette to follow. And what has become basically a win and in-game for Marquette in the tournament. That's going to fall off from Telfort in what could be his final collegiate game. Scott, step into the 3. Everything's going for the Johnnies.
And that's their 7th-3 of the game. And it's kind of been a slow grind from behind the arc, but they have the potential to do that consistently, especially with Aaron Scott.
St. John's, a rich history in the Big East, and they are playing like those teams of old. Lou Carnesecca looking Marquette and Xavier, and for Xavier, it's more than just advancing in the Big East tournament. It really could mean advancing to the NCAA tournament. Right now, the field of 68 has them as the last 4 in. You see the quad 1 and 2 wins and their net rank. They're right there with Marquette and UConn, who just dropped out now to 31. Creighton at 38. Villanova just outside the top 50. But a win today could go a very long way in solidifying a resume for a team that's playing as well as anybody in the country right now. And we'll have all the action for you after this one right here on Peacock. King, hop in the lane, blocks, Iwuchukwu.
Yeah, probably could have straight lined it to that left side. Hop steps right into the outstretched arms of Iwuchukwu.
Wilcher lost it, knocked away from McCaffrey. What a journey for Patrick McCaffrey. He'll step into a deep one. That's short. Rebound for King. McCaffrey puts his head down and he'll slam. 16 points for McCaffrey in what could be and will be in all likelihood his final collegiate game after 5+ seasons, 6 really. Started his college career in 2019, pre-COVID. And he has played 123 games at Iowa, now 33 games here with Butler. All the experience, and Thad Matta will let him get his flowers heading to the Butler bench. And those Bulldog fans in the building will support and appreciate him for the season that he provided. And now he and his brother can share a moment. Connor over on the bench as well. Well deserved. What a career. What a moment between those two. That is special. And that's what college basketball and really just sports in general is all about. The emotion that comes with it, the passion, and there are a few guys that play with the passion that McCaffrey has, understanding what he nearly had taken away from him with the sport and far beyond that.
Cancer diagnosis, fights that, beats that. I mean, there's so much that happens physically but mentally also for that young man the last few years. And again, comes from a beautiful family. There's his brother, emotional as well, who Thad Matta says is going to be a head coach very, very soon. So it runs in the family, but basketball is more than just a thing to them. It is their life, and it has been their entire lives.
Played together growing up, played together in college. You mentioned younger brother Jack is signed to play at Butler next year. It'll be a continued legacy and lineage of McCaffrey in Indy. Now, you remember the moment as the final game, and you recognize that all that hard work, all those years, all the blood, sweat, and tears is coming to a close. It hits you like a truck in the moment. We see it certainly in these conference tournaments. All that will come back in for St. John's. And Scott will get quite the ovation. What a game that he had. Defensively, just super active hands. He had the 5 steals in the first 12 minutes he played. He had 15 points overall with 3 of 6 going down from downtown.
Just adds a different wrinkle for them. I mean, he really does. 15 points in 21 minutes. He can knock down shots. He's long, so he's interchangeable defensively. Just another tough weapon, Aaron Scott.
And he reignited with those steals in this second half. Butler, remember, got it to within 8 in the opening minutes. And then the 10-0 run by St. John's re-extended it. Kapke blocked, but a foul. It's going to be Davon Smith. So final minute 16, St. John's. There was so much discussion about the season they had, the 27-4 record, 18-2 in Big East play. 2-point loss at Villanova, the loss at Creighton. They had been in every game they played. So what would they look like come postseason? In this first game, they came prepared and then some. Rick Pitino's team, a well-oiled machine. Started on the defensive end in a choppy game, got it rolling a little bit offensively, and now they're right at their number as the Big East Player of the Year continues to impress. R.J. Lewis steadying this offense along with Kadari Richmond. Lewis 20 points, 7 rebounds. Richmond 15, 8, and 9. Nearly a second straight triple-double. Scott added the 15. From that point on, it was smooth sailing, cruise control. Bray missed it. Iwuchukwu didn't. Final minute. in the season for the Butler Bulldogs. Year number 4 for Thad Matta. Stop and banker goes. Evan Haywood, who's gotten his shots up in this extended run with Bizjack being ruled out for the rest of the game. St. John's will be content to take this down and run some offense just to make sure they've got the space. We'll see if they do take a final shot. It's Smith, lob it inside. Iwuchukwu, little exclamation point for the Johnnies.
Such a luxury, again, to have a point guard who can, they have two that can kind of play you different ways, and then also to have bigs who can go up and catch it, interchangeable, switchable. It's a dangerous team, man. I know everyone knows that, but they seem to get better and better every game, Noah, St. John's.
Kapke in and out, rebound, pray, and that'll do it. The Johnnies continue their dominance. 10-0 at the season here at the Mecca, and a 21-point victory over Butler to advance to the semis in the Big East tournament. All-around effort in front of their home fans, and you've got to basically guarantee this building will be rocking tomorrow night.
Well, I know no one wants to play St. John's, but that next game is going to be huge. Marquette and Xavier. Woo.
Let's go to John.
Rick, what did you see in your team's first step of the postseason?
Well, I think we played well. We didn't play great. I think we played well. First game's always tough. The team that plays the night before always has a little advantage. Now, the third night, it's a different situation. But in the second night, come out a little rusty. But I thought overall it was a good performance.
You made 7 threes. You outscored them 44-18 in the paint. How would you assess the offensive execution?
Listen, we played like a 4-star. 1 out of 5. MJ being a 5+, we were a 4-star. Hopefully tomorrow we go to a 5-.
All right. At halftime, you were very short with your words, but clear. Kadari Richmond must defend better. He did end up with 15, 8, and 9. How would you give out the second half report card?
I'm the type of horse's ass. A guy has 30, 15, and 10, and I say he didn't get over the pick and roll.
Coach, you're on to Friday night at Madison Square Garden. What does that mean?
It's great. I'm surprised we didn't have more fans. Most of the place is blue. I guess that's Marquette. Or they see John Fanta in a blue jersey and it said, it's a blue out.
Coach, thank you. And now let's talk to RJ Lewis. RJ, yesterday you had tears down your face thinking about winning Big East Player of the Year. Today you set the tone for the postseason. Can you take me through the wave of emotion over the last 24 hours?
I mean, it was very, very emotional. A little nervous today in the game. But I mean, I just going to shake it off, going to get back, regroup, watch some film, listen to the coaching staff. We got the winner of Marquette and Xavier, so we're going to prepare for that. And I'm just really blessed to be here to just play on this stage, and I just give all the glory to God.
Even when you're up 15 to 20 points, coaches' huddles do not change. Why are you guys always receptive of that?
He's trying to build in a championship mindset, meaning that we need to always be prepared, and we need to have that hunger, not just because we win in the game, but throughout that and much more.
You're on to a semifinal Friday night at Madison Square Garden. Last year, this team was on that stage and came up just short of Connecticut. How hungry are you to put another door down and say, let's get to championship Saturday in the Big East?
We're very hungry, very blessed for this opportunity. We're going to take full advantage of it.
Thanks, RJ.
All right, John. Appreciate you.
John with a couple of mentions there. I think Rick is just trying to put anything he can on the great John Fent. Our final score, St. John's 78-57. We're going to head back to the studio with Ahmed Fareed, Jordan Cornette, Matt McCall.
Thank you, Noah. Welcome into our studio. So glad you're with us. Welcome to College Countdown, presented by Discover. I am Ahmed. That is Jordan. That is Matt, wearing the navy blue in honor of John Fanta. It is blue Fanta.
It's a blue out.
It's a blue out.
Coach Pitino, some people have to work today. I mean, some people have jobs. They can't just go to a basketball game.
I don't even know, to be honest,
noon on a Thursday.
I don't even know what Coach Pitino was talking about. I mean, I didn't get the whole blue out.
He seemed giddy. He seemed giddy because,
I didn't get it.
As he said, Jordan, you never know what you're going to get in the first time you've hit the court. We saw a Butler team yesterday that looked strong. Brooks had 25, was tough down low. Telford had a good game. Brooks goes from 25 to just 5 in this game, 1 of 10 shooting. St. John's suffocated Butler in this ballgame.
I maybe didn't get the joke from Coach Pitino at the end there, but I do get what he's doing with this group, and it is a master class defensively and how he has his guys operate. This St. John's team, to me, is the most fun team to watch in college basketball. Because when you step on the floor, it's all fun and games from this Butler team who thought, and I thought as well, that they could give them a game until you get out there and you get punched in the mouth, you get punched in the neck, you get punched in the back of the head, you get a body shot by the kidneys.
And that's just the first media timeout.
And then you got 36 more minutes of it. I mean, look, they just overwhelm you. Telford had 26, like you said. So what's the assignment? Make him uncomfortable. Make him meet a chest. Make him take everything contested. Make him fade away. And that's exactly what they did. Help side was always there. They're throwing doubles. They're getting in passing lanes. They're getting in the back pocket. They're making shots. Okay, they're not making shots. They're winning on the backboard. They're putting pressure on you in the backcourt. It's just overwhelming. And they say for 40 minutes, play with us. And there's very few teams in the country that can do that, Coach.
And you see the emotion of McCaffrey late in the game on just how much it means to him and you know, Butler going down. But you're right, and we showed it at the half. Thad Matta said it in his interview. We're getting hand-checked. We're getting hit. But that's what St. John's does. You can't call every single foul in a basketball game. They are so physical. There are no unaffected shots. There are no unaffected passes. Everything is challenged. They're fighting through screens, even on the post defense, on the clip that we saw at the half with R.J. Lewis, affecting every single pass in the game. That's why this team is so good. They could cut down the nets in the Garden and make a run all the way to the Final Four.
And it's a different style, too. It's a different style of basketball. It's obviously the defensive style that we've seen here. They were 4 of 8 for the first 8 three-point shots they took. Didn't shoot quite that efficiently as the game went on. But they've proven that they can win a bunch of different ways, not hitting the three-point shot or hitting the three-point shot.
And eventually the three-point shot will click for them during their tournament run, which is going to be a deep run. And when that does, that makes them that much more difficult. I will say this. I've been lucky enough when I was at Notre Dame from 01 to 05 to play in the Garden for the Big East tournament. It feels like you're playing for a national championship in that place. So I think that's where Coach Pitino's like, I don't know, where's all the red at? Because he expected it from the jump.
They're waiting.
Don't worry, Coach. They know you're going to be there.
They will be there. They know you're going to make a run. They got to work today so they can get there over the weekend.
There's no place like the magic of that place. It signifies spring. It signifies the start of the madness. And we've got a great game coming up here with a lot on the line for a Xavier team that I believe should be in the field already, but would love to really solidify their stance by beating a really good Marquette.
So we'll talk about that. St. John's and Rick Pitino can now sit back and scout this 4-5 matchup between the Musketeers and Xavier coming up here in just about 20 minutes from now. But while we wait, let's take a look at the highlights from the game that we just saw. Kadari Richmond will start it out midway through the first half. Here's the three-point shot that was falling early on. Player of the year in the Big East, R.J. Lewis for 3. St. John's up 18-3. Then Richmond getting his own shot in the lane.
It's a linebacker.
Multiple ways.
It's a linebacker with the basketball that's going to get to his point, and he's going to make bodies move off of him. Nearly had a triple-double, but just probing dribbles. Very deliberate, very controlled with his play. And when he's playing like this, it's just part of what overwhelms you. That body leaning on you, bouncing him out of the way. It's intimidation and high-level execution, and they love the open.
Well, we talk about their defense so much and how physical they are on the defensive end of the floor, but think about how Kadari Richmond plays and how physical he is offensively. He does a great job, especially when he's pushing it in transition, of getting angles, absorbing the contact, and always being able to finish. And then the Big East Player of the Year, with his size, his ability to shoot over smaller guards, that's what makes this team so dangerous.
St. John's going on to the semis for the second straight year. Previously hadn't reached this far in the tournament since the year 2000.
Would like to add something for a Butler team that is expecting more this year. Obviously, it didn't happen. Coach Mott is one of the greatest coaches in our game. Butler brings in their best freshman class next season that they've ever had. So there's reason for optimism as Butler turns a page on this year in terms of expectation and optimism for the next.
Some question whether Thad Matta would come back. He is coming back for next year. When you have a class like that, that makes it a little easier.
They've got a great AD. They're fully invested in basketball. They'll be fine.
All right, so this year at least,